Alright, so let's talk about the steps we just took to create this perpendicular bisector. So step one, we open compass. More than 1/2 way across segment. Step two, we drew an arc from each point. And step three, use a ruler, draw a line through arc intercepts. Ruler or some other kind of straight edge is fine, doesn't necessarily need to be a ruler. Use a ruler to, let's say, draw a line through arc intersections. Alright, now here's a U trisection down here on the bottom, and I'll do one or two of these. So make sure that my compass is at least halfway through, let's see, is bigger than halfway across this segment. It's hard to talk right now. Again, keep the measurement of my compass the same from each side, from each end point. That's very important that you keep the compass the same. There, I have a perpendicular bisector. Let's do one more. Okay, my compass is more than halfway across. I have my end point of my compass at the end point of the segment, and from the other segment, same thing. There we go. Connect the intersections. Boom. Perpendicular bisectors. All day long. Alright, let's keep on going. So the next part of this section is copying an angle. Yeah, there we go. Copying an angle. Alright. So, to copy an angle, we're going to need to adjust this guy as we work through this. So, first, we are going to draw a ray with a ruler or straight edge. So I'm just going to draw a ray, and that is going to be the copy of this one here in just a minute. Then I'm going to put the pointy end. After I draw, I'm going to put this dot right here. There's S. I'm going to put the pointy end on S, and then I'm going to draw an arc that creates these points U and T. Okay, now don't change your compass yet. We got to draw the same arc over here at X. Alright, so you shouldn't have changed your compass yet. You've done one arc here and the same arc here at this endpoint X and at this point vertex S. Now, we are going to measure with the compass the distance between T and U. So you're going to need to change your compass setting here so that you've got T and U here. You've got that distance, T, between T and U. Boom. There we go. Looks pretty close. Alright, so now I'm going to take my compass, make a segment right there just like that. So if I do the same thing here, boom, I've got the distance between T and U, and here I've done it again, that same distance right there. but only this time we're going to call this point Y here. And at my intersection of these two arcs from X, I have this angle, should be pretty dang close to this angle. I have just copied this angle. I'm going to call this Z up here. It's going to make our steps a little bit easier as we go through them. So, step one, what we just did up here is we use a straight edge to draw a ray. Label endpoint X. Alright. Then step two, we put the pointy end on S, and then we drew an arc. After we drew that arc, we labeled points of intersection U and T. U and T. So that's what we did there. Now we keep your settings from that first arc. Keep settings. Draw arc from X. Label intersection Y. Getting pretty close. Alright, step 4, we set compass for distance TU. Then, we keep that setting, pointy side on Y, draw arc, label intersection Z, and then we drew ray XZ. Alright, keep setting. And so that was the setting that was TU, right? Pointy side on Y now. Draw arc. Label intersection Z. Draw XZ. So remember, ray has a line on top, and an arrow on one side. So we drew ray XZ, and so we should have arrows at the end of both of these guys. Alright, now let's see if we can do an arc here with this one. So notice this one was obtuse, and the first one we did was acute. I'm going to open this up a little bit. Maybe not quite that much. Alright, now the first thing we were supposed to do, the first thing we did was we drew a ray with a straight edge, so let me do that. Put an arrow at the end of it. I'm going to label this X. I'm going to label this one S. I'm going to draw an arc from S with my left hand, pretty awesome. T and U is what I'm going to label those. I keep my settings on my compass. Now I'm going to do the same thing again. Make sure I do plenty big of an arc. There we go. I'm going to label this intersection here Y. And then I'm going to get my distance from T to U. So I need to open my compass up. Go from T to U. tighten that up. T to U, still looks pretty good. Alright, then I'm going to draw an arc there to make that intersection, and I'm going to call that intersection Z. Then I'm going to draw a ray that goes from X through Z, put an arrow at the end of that, and these angles should be exactly the same, or, you know, really close to it. We have now copied an angle. We're going to keep going here. One more part of this section. Bisecting an angle. So an angle bisector is a ray that divides an angle into two congruent angles. So remember, we're gonna cut the angle right in half so that there's one angle here and one angle here that are exactly the same. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we are going to draw an arc from the vertex. There we go. And then we are going to draw another arc. And as long as our compass, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller because I don't want to go off the page here. But as long as the compass is farther than halfway between these 2 points, you're going to be good. So I'm going to draw an arc out front here and keep my settings the same, and I'm going to draw an arc from this intersection here. Now, where these two arcs cross, that is where I am going to draw my ray, and I have bisected my angle. So let's label these here. This will be M is my vertex, P is going to be this intersection up here, Q is going to be down here, and then my new ray is going to be ray MR. Now, so we've done it. Let's write down the steps that we just did. So, compass on M, or the vertex. Draw arc that intersects both sides. And then label P and Q. Alright, that was the first thing we did, except for we didn't label the first time, but that's okay. Step 2, compass on P. Arc on interior of angle. So remember, this is the interior, this is the exterior. So we draw an arc on interior of angle. Step 3, keep settings. Pointy end on Q. Draw arc to intersect arc from step 2. Label intersection R. Oof. Label intersection R. Then the last step, we just use a straight edge to draw MR. ray MR. That's it. That's all we did. So let's go ahead and do these U-tries down here at the bottom. So I'm going to start here at the vertex. Then I've got these 2 points. I'm going to draw an arc inside here, an arc from this intersection. There we go. Now I have two intersecting arcs there, and I draw a ray from the vertex right through those. I've got bisecting angles here, which means this angle is congruent to this angle right here. Let's do one more. I'm just going to leave my settings like this. Why not? Oh, because it might not work with this one. But I can start right here with this angle. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to intersect unless I open it up a little bit. So let me open up my compass a bit so that my 2 arcs I'm going to draw right now are going to intersect. So I'm going to go from this point, draw an arc, from this point, draw an arc. Now my arcs have intersected right there in the middle. I can go for my vertex, draw my ray. I've got 2 perfectly equal angles right here in the middle of that. Now on the back side of this, we've got guided practice. So this is your homework here. So go ahead and go through that on your own as homework and turn that in. There you go.